Yep. Okay, start of the second half now. Warners Bay a little bit late to get out. I'm sure the coach had a few stern words to say to them at half time after letting 3 goals in 3 minutes go. I know when it happened to me last week, I had a few kind words or sort of put it to say to the players. Talking to the Bar TV guys here today, they're going to be very kind to me when I'm in the coach's box later on. They'll probably give me a little shout out, I'm sure. Okay, ready for the start of the second half now. It's been a gripping contest so far. City got the ascendancy at the end of the second quarter, similar to Warners Bay in the first. This is why they call this the premiership quarter. They go in hard. Munro in, misses the tackle. Probably needed to go a little bit harder then. Jake Hayes hard at the ball, taps it on forward. Great hip and shoulder. Bounces up quickly. Again, City with the loose in the middle of the ground. Pumps it over the top. Oh, the bit of a fumble gives the Warners Bay boys a chance to man up. And pumps it forward. And City again with a loose forward. And they've got another one there in the goal square. Dear me. So Warners Bay, unfortunately, have started how they finished the second quarter. This, again, it's a real coach killer having loose players inside the forward 50 for the opposition. He shouldn't miss it from here. Fairly easy shot. He's kicked it. He's gone the right post. All good goal kickers would have with a wind like this today, and City get the first for the third. Warners Bay will need to respond here. They've made a couple of positional changes. They've got Hayes and Punter back in defence. Billy Ryan as well now just to try and stem the flow a little bit. Pete Seaman's gone into the back pocket. I'll get my team sheet out again to see who the rest of the players are out there. It's hard to tell their faces from a distance. Munro spins out of trouble twice, handballs forward. Clark onto the boot. That was terrific play by Munro then. That'll be on his highlights reel at the end of the year. Very, very good. City too easy out of defence then. They steady now. They've got loose players here on the outer wing. He just has to move it on quickly, and he's got a plethora of options. Plays on. Kicks forward. There we go. Pittard in front. Again, kicks, but there's no Warners Bay players at home. Again, this would not be pleasing the coach. It'll only be a matter of time, I'm sure, before the runner goes out. It's just too easy for him at the moment. City have really taken a grab of this game. Warners Bay pump it forward. Connor Mainwaring's been fantastic in his first game of AFL football. He's given everything to the coach. Kick goes out of bounds on the full, and City will attack yet again. 2.5 minutes into this second quarter, they've already got one on the board, and they're looking dominant. Great hasten tackle down by Michael Bay. Simon Denham, no hesitation in giving the holding the ball there. No awareness there by the young City man running forward. It's Michael signalling for an option up forward. He kicks it long. Again, nobody home for Warners Bay. City break again outright. Jake Hayes for the intercepting mark. Goes up. Interesting soccer off the ground. It's Willing there in the centre here. City break away with the ball. They're going to go forward again. The ball comes to ground fortuitously for Warners Bay. Billy Ryan out of defence with that familiar sidestep. Nearly gets caught. Keeps just pushing the ball forward. Great willing desire there from Billy. City coming forward in waves at the moment. Warners Bay will have to tighten up here. It's definitely, otherwise they're going to. I'm sure I can see another City onslaught coming. Bounce down at centre half back. Clear winner again for City. Over the left shoulder. The goal umpire doesn't move. That's a terrific tackle. That could almost be the early goal of the day contender. Almost running the wrong way and popped it over the left shoulder. It never, ever looked like missing. Oh, we've got an interruption for the commentator. Hang on 2 seconds. Hey, mate, what's happening? Oh, not much. I'm just doing commentary at the moment. you on your way? Hey? Yep. 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 Yeah, they'll do. Yeah, there will be. There's some in the uniform cupboard. No, no, just get it. Yeah, 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 that'll be fine, mate. All right, see you, buddy. All right, we're ready to go. Sorry about that, folks. I know how much you miss my commentary, but as senior coach, I often get calls from confused players. Oddly enough, I get one every week. Someone's forgotten their shorts and socks and has to just making sure we had some spare ones at the ground. I think we make an allowance of about 5 pairs for each player because they all do it. Plays on quickly. Joel Pittard with a quick kick forward. Oh, Will Schofield. He got paid the mark. He actually spilled his lollies. Gets it onto the boot anyway. Gee, with City have looked a much better outfit in this third quarter, which will be disappointing for the Warners Bay coach. But I think a couple of first gamers out there today for the season. The warm conditions have really starting to take a toll on their legs. Ball push forward. Pete Seaman, he ran around him, inside out off the boot. Oh, Jake Hayes. I tell you what, as the game has gone on, he has just got better and better. Good signs there for him in the next few weeks. Once he gets a couple of weeks training under his belt, I'm sure he'll be able to force his way in the first division side. And I know he's got a massive desire to play senior football again this year. And if he can get fit and well, I'm sure there's no reason why he can't. Maybe buy the coach a couple of beers up the black butt after the game will always help too. Remember the coach drinks Carlton dry as we see another goal for City. I think that's the third one they've banged in the first 6.5 minutes of this quarter. And if the alarm bells weren't ringing for Coach Ander before, they are now. That's 6 goals that City have kicked unanswered. I believe 3 at the end of the second quarter, 3 at the beginning of this quarter. And they've blown themselves out to a bit of a lead here. Scoreboard attendance been a little bit slow down there. Must be my assistant coach, Dean Crotty, is it? 61-19, so City have jumped out to a 42-point lead. I'm no good at English, but my maths is okay.
No.
While I've got the microphone, of course, I'd like to say a big hello to my good mate Gary Birkinshaw and fellow Richmond player who I also know will be looking after me in the commentary today. Terrific bloke, Gary. I can see why you enjoy this microphone so much. I don't want to give it up. Ball forward, Jake Hayes has got his name written all over it. Oh, a big fly. Nearly a contender for mark of the day, but good effort. He got up to tackle. Very pleasing signs for the senior coach, seeing him burst into form like this. Mikey Vo gets the free kick. Warners Bay really need a steady here. 42 points down at the moment. They really want to say they need the next goal would be an understatement. Would probably sound a bit like Dennis Committee, so we won't go there. Lowy comes off for a break. The 49-year-old legs are really starting to hurt there a little bit. In his fashionable pink headgear. Oh, City, another loose player up forward. I tell you what, it's an early call, but I'd hazard to say if he bangs this through, this is almost getting out of reach for Warners Bay. It'd blow it right out to a 48-point lead, yet they'd almost have to kick 9 unanswered, 1 to come through, and another uncontested mark in the goal square. That wasn't happening in the first quarter. It was the other way around. So City have really stuck to their guns, and unfortunately for the Warners Bay side, the City just look like they've got a bit more run in the legs at the moment, and they've kicked 7 unanswered goals to turn what was a 6-point lead into a massive deficit. Poor old goal umpire down there. She's getting a nice old workout too with the flags. Unfortunately, she's seeing more action than the Warners Bay forwards at the moment. I think what's important for this side now is that they need to regroup and get a couple on the board, just to put a bit of respectability back in there. They've battled hard for the first half, but they've just lost their way. The three final minutes in the second quarter and the start of this quarter have killed them. Ball comes down forward again. 3-on-1. Puts his body on the line. Oh, City, they're going to waltz into one here, I fancy. Oh, he's missed it. He's had an air swing. Wouldn't be happy with that stat, and unfortunately for the young man, it's been caught on film as well. That probably won't be in his highlights package.
Close enough.
Connor Mainwaring uses his pace. Very fit young man. Did the whole pre-season with us, said I might like to have a game of footy, and I tell you what, he's fitted straight in there too. In hard over the footy there. Unlucky not to get a free kick there. The umpire looks like he's put his whistle away. He'll ball it up. Throw up now, just the other side of centre. No real clean possession. Ball forced forward. It's a mess of players, a tangle of arms and legs in there, and we'll have it again. Big crowd building up here today at Warners Bay with what I really hope is going to be an entertaining clash in the Premier Grade. Without being too biased, if we could win by 3 goals at Warners Bay, I'd be pretty happy. But I'm sure the City coach Mitch Knight will probably be saying something very similar. So I look forward to catching up with him after the game. City have just been so dominant this quarter. They just forced and pushed the ball forward. Ball comes back into attack. Oh, Ryan Clark, solid as a rock. He'll be good for this first run this year. Plays on quickly. Terrific skills, Ryan. Just the fact that he can't get to many training sessions anymore doesn't really allow him to move up through the grades, which is a shame because he's such a good footballer to watch when he's in full flight. And yet again, unfortunately, unchecked in the goal square. City are going to have another shot. They're ringing the changes now, the City boys. One of my favourite Warners Bay players is walking past, Todd Krause. He has got to be influential later on in today's game. Returned back the night before round 1 from an overseas deployment, and he just fitted right back in with the boys after playing about 20 minutes last year before dislocating a shoulder. And City bang on another goal as I prattle on about other stuff. So unfortunately for the large crowd building today, what has been a close and tight, entertaining game has turned into a bit of a blowout. But I'm sure Adam Lowe coming on will make a huge difference here. Here he comes now, the big fella. Number 47, a famous number here at Warners Bay. Oh, unusual rucking technique by Laird there. Going forward again. Pedestrian stuff, unfortunately, from Warners Bay at the moment. Could this be another air swing in the goal square? Oh, no. It looked like the ball may have hit the post there. She's done a terrific job down there, the lovely goal umpire. I hope it's a she, otherwise I'm in trouble. Yep, no, it's a she. That's good. Josh Buckley playing in front, doesn't quite get a trap on the ball. He'll be better for the run after spending the last 3 weeks on some sort of Caribbean cruise. I'm sure he'll have plenty of good stories to tell us all about that later tonight at the Black Butt, a great sponsor of the Warners Bay Football Club. They pump it forward again, City, and again they get another score. Fortunately for Warners Bay, it's another behind, but at 56 points the difference at a quick look at that scorecard doesn't paint pretty reading. 57 points even now with that extra behind, of course. I think judging from this, Warners Bay have shown like they've won the first two. They've won the first 2 weeks in this division and have matched it with City for the first half. And I think if this has demonstrated one thing to the lads, it just tells them they really need to get back out onto the track and put in some hard yards so they can run these games out. An Fortunately, the City guy's all right. He looked like he landed very awkwardly on his head. Then the blue headgear certainly helped him out. He's sort of running over to the boundary. It doesn't. He's bypassed the gate. He'll have to come through the interchange gate. Has to come through the interchange gate. Ooh. City have just had all the answers this quarter. They pump it forward again, but looks like numbers are with City. Oh, Ryan Cross unfortunately misses that. Ball bounces. City ringing the changes at the moment. They'd be fairly happy with all this. Pump the ball forward again. Good grab there by Billy Ryan. Kicks it long. Ryan Cross with the big fly. Yeah, I think he's got. Here's the umpire. He doesn't miss much. Simon Denham. He's pinged him from just a frag too early. Again, it's Ryan's first game in a year, so he'll get the timing back in the next couple of weeks. Probably after the 2 byes even. Kicks it down forward. Low uses the body. Hunter comes through, sees the ball over the line. He was a real rock in defence there in the third quarter. He's playing full forward, but took it upon himself to go back there and help out the defence. Munro comes off for a well-deserved rest. Unmarked at the back, City again. Oh, that's a terrific mark from behind the 57 for City there, who is Tim Sullivan. I have called his name a couple of times. It's probably because he's the only name I could remember, but nevertheless, that means he's had a few touches. So it's been a terrific effort. He's missed that one, though, and Ryan Clark to bring the ball back in. I'm getting excited. I've just shaken the table. Pumps it along up the guts. They'll need a favourable bounce, Warners Bay. Pump it on the boot, big fella. Kicks it. Boyd's got a paddock. It's Boyd and Anderson on a 2-on-1. Anderson working hard. He can't quite get there. Forces it forward. Then the City guy. Anderson with the pressure on the boundary line. They're just running through in waves now, City, and things are just falling right for them now. An ill-directed kick, but it fell straight into the arms. Oh, that's a great mark there for the young man. I think that might be Isaac Walker, one of the up-and-coming under-17s of the footy club. It's a terrific mark. Really, really good. Pinned a high tackle. A little bit of a push and shove in here now. A couple of the boys aren't happy there. I could hear a couple of kind words said. Ball pumped in long again. Ryan Clark plays in front. He hasn't quite got that spring in his jump yet. Probably take a couple of weeks back into the fray. City kick backwards about 50 metres. It hits the target fortuitously for him, I must say. Pumps it in long. The ball's just pumping through. It looks like a pinball machine down there. No one can really get a clear handle on it. A bit of the zip's gone down. City have really taken the sting out of it this quarter. There's only 1.5 minutes to go towards three-quarter time, and unfortunately it would be all City. Warners Bay are pushing it forward now. It would be lovely to see them get a goal. Got to bend down and pick it up. Oh, Cameron Boyd gets it onto the boot. Just somehow has to wheel that ball forward. The chase wasn't quite there for Warners. And City, it looks like City will have probably the final shot on goal here for this quarter. In what will be one that I'm sure Coach Hander will dwell on and tell the boys as an example of what happens when you don't quite work as hard as you need to. He's lined up. It's just gone to the left side of the post. and through for one behind. As Joel Pittard comes off for a rest. A picture of fitness, Joel. Terrific work down there. Munro back into the fray. That little afro stands out from a long way away. Down the guts. Josh Buckley. Oh, he's had a bit of an air swing there. Again, Josh will be better for the run after having a few weeks out with the Caribbean holiday. They force the ball forward. There can't be much time left. I can sense the hoot is about to go. I'm almost positive according to my time clock. They force it forward again. Warners Bay, if they could just hold on here, and there's the siren to end the third quarter. As I quickly run down to give First Division coach Jason Watts a couple of messages before I return for a gripping bit of commentary for the final quarter.